Hello everybody and welcome to the results presentation. I'm delighted to share with you a really strong set of performance numbers. Sales are up 11.5%, profits up 34%, and you'll see us accelerate the recovery of the dividend. So it's been a very, very strong performance, but I'm pleased to say I've got all of the CEOs with me to tell you a little bit about what it is that's driven those numbers. So Jason, first full year UK Ireland CEO, how's it been?
Well, it's been quite a year, Dave. So we started off with the beast from the east. We then moved into the hottest summer on record, but we recovered to deliver the best Christmas that we've delivered since 2009 and absolutely thrashed the market in terms of the performance. And then, of course, we launched our first centenary event in January, and that momentum has carried us forward into this year. But along the way, an awful lot of change, whether that be changing the offer for customers, our Tesco brand relaunch, whether it be the changes we made in terms of space and merchandising in store, or whether it be the changes in structures in store in order to make the offer more relevant for customers and to make sure we've got a business that's sustainable for the future.
No, I would agree. It's been a hell of a year. And Charles, your first full year as booker inside Tesco, how's that been for you?
Well, Dave, it's going well. Business as usual is working. We got 86% customer satisfaction. That drove the sales growth. So like-for-likes were up 11%. We added £500 million of incremental business this year. That fed through to the bottom line. So profits were 196 million. So that was well ahead of last year. Joining forces is also going well. That we've now building the best supply chain in the UK, with Tesco delivering to some of the Booker stores down in the southwest, and Booker's now delivering to the petrol forecourts. So that's going well. We're now supplying over 70 stores with big packs from Booker, and we're also improving the choice, quality, price and service to the restaurants and caterers that Booker supplies. So that's resulted in us delivering about 78 million more operating profit in synergy. So overall, it's been a good year. So pleased to say we've got a lot done, but we've got a heck of a lot to do in the year ahead.
No, I agree. It's very encouraging though, isn't it? To deliver on everything we said we would pre-merger, post-merger. Credit to everybody involved. But Matt, you're 2 years in, 2 years of transformation in Central Europe. How's the second year been?
Yeah, I mean, the second year's seen a lot more big changes. Some of them have been quite difficult, particularly in Poland, where we've had to close a lot of stores, unfortunately. We've exited the department stores and we've taken a lot of space out of our bigger hypermarkets. So we've downsized our general merchandise departments, and now what we're left with is a much better core. So a much more competitive food business, a much more profitable food business, and now we can start to turn our focus to growth, particularly in Czech, Slovakia and Hungary.
No, indeed. It's been a remarkable continuation of a journey, and you look at now some of the profit numbers in Central Europe and how you finished the year getting very, very comparable even with the UK in terms of underlying performance, which is great to see. And Alison, you've had a challenge in Asia and a turnaround this year. So how did you finish?
I'd first like to call out Malaysia, who have had continued strong performance. In Thailand, the environment remains challenging, so overall, like-for-like, negative 6% for the year, but in Q4 we recovered to -3%, and that was improved upon with a very strong seasonal performance as well. But I think profit is where we're really proud, so we'll end the year making £286 million profit, which I think will be ahead of everyone's expectations following the half-year results. And we talked to colleagues about a reset for growth, so that the two things that have driven that have been some very material restructuring in the stores and in the office. In the stores environment, for example, we've stopped 89 processes, which have meant that colleagues have still been able to say their work is simply year on year, which is fantastic, and that customer satisfaction is up 2% year on year despite those changes. But alongside that, a lot of work with suppliers. So we've moved 50% of our back margin to the front. And renegotiated our trading terms so that they're appropriate for the environment that we're in, and that again has meant that our second half margin is ahead of the first and ahead of last year.
Which is brilliant, which is fantastic. So across the retail business, everything seems to be a broad-based improvement. So Jerry, how's it been in the bank, your first year?
Yeah, it was a really good year of improvement in the bank as well. On the customer service side, we had some real new innovations in terms of the online credit card journeys and a new banking app, so customers can see real improvement and makes life an awful lot easier for them. In terms of the financial performance of the business, the profitability was up 17% to 197 million, so that's a real step forward. And I suppose one of the really encouraging things is we passed the milestone of £10 billion of customer deposits. That's an enormous amount of faith and trust that customers are putting in us to deposit that amount of money with us. It was a harder year, I think, on the insurance side, particularly in motor insurance, and we could see price competition was enormous in the market over the course of the year, and prices came down and down. And that's a really good thing for customers, but it's much more challenging for our business. But we did respond, and we've continued to invest in our insurance proposition. And customers told us they were really pleased with that, and we've seen the year end really strongly.
Oh, very good. So look, thank you all very much. It's clearly been a very, very strong year, but I'm sure what colleagues want to know is what comes next. So what does the year ahead look like, Jason?
Well, it's our centenary year, so it's a big year for us. We started, as I said, very well back in January, and also followed up with a colleague double discount. So we've got more to come over the course of the year, some exciting plans around celebrating our centenary with our customers and our colleagues, really looking forward to that. And I think following last year, if we're honest, we put a bit too much change through our stores and put too much pressure on our colleagues in the stores and too much disruption for our customers. So very much focused on simplification and minimising disruption and focusing on how we can make it a much simpler shopping trip, much easier for our colleagues to focus on serving our shoppers here in Britain a little better every day.
Fantastic. How about you, Charles?
Well, we've just got to continue delivering better choice, quality, price and service for the consumer and for the Booker customers to deliver that, and we'll have a good year.
Very clear. Matt?
I think for us it's a continuation of working better together. The teams are really what drove the performance this year, and I think that holds still into next year. But as we move forward, more and more focus on customers and growth in Central Europe.
And in Asia?
So Malaysia continues to perform very strongly, but with Thailand it is very much a story about growth, and we're trialling new propositions in both our large and small stores, which we think will enable us to serve customers better there going forward.
And for the bank?
Well, banks don't have the best reputation for putting customers first. I'm delighted that at Tesco Bank that is completely different, but I still think there's even more that we can do to take the very best of Tesco and bring it into the bank and behave more and more like Tesco and give customers something really exciting.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Thank you all very much indeed. I'm sure our colleagues appreciate the candour about last year, but also some of the confidence for the year ahead. It has been, as I said, a very, very strong year. I'm very pleased with the plans that we've got in each of our operating units. I think what you hear from all of us is keep the customer absolutely in the centre of our thinking, simplify everything we can to allow our colleagues to serve those customers better. And when we do that, actually the business is in rude health. So despite all of the challenges, it's been a very good year for Tesco across all territories. So thank you very much on behalf of the executive for everything you and your teams have done to make that the case. And have a great year.